It's 5th September 2023, a day when the Climate Summit, Africa Climate Summit, has gotten into its second days. Believe it or not, wealthy nations are promising or pledging billions of dollars that will go into mitigating the effects or negative impacts of climate change in African countries. That story we're giving you wall-to-wall coverage starting right now up to when we'll be going for our first break. But remember that we will also be having that conversation around reviving the sugar mills in the country. We'll be sitting down with none other than Mumias East Member of Parliament, Peter Salasia. You don't want to miss that interview. But first, we do all get our top stories this evening. Wealthy economies pledge billions for African countries suffering from effects of climate change as Ruto leads several heads of state and governments at Pan-African climate event. Replanet Africa movement set for launch. NGO awards winners of university essay writing competition. Curtains close on another Mau Mau veteran as Field Marshal Muthoni Wakirima breathes her last. We tell you about Kirinyaga motorbike operator using gas instead of fuel as cost of fuel maintains an upward trend. My name is Dennis Omondi, and on our sign language interpretation tonight is Sheila Kinyaga. Good evening and welcome to this broadcast. Now, the Africa Climate Summit entered its second day today at the Kenyatta International Conference Center, Nairobi. Once again, President William Ruto led about 15 African heads of states and governments alongside other senior policy makers. The conference, which is also being attended by investors and ambassadors from foreign countries, saw African leaders deliberating on how to tackle climate change with a pledge of collaboration to this end.
On the second day of the African Climate Summit, heads of state from African nations led by Chairman of the African Union Musa Faki Mohammed gave their statements regarding the effects and impacts of climate change. The leaders stated that bold consultation of facts will play a big role in solving the problem of climate change.
African countries thus face disproportionate burdens and risks arising from unpredictable weather patterns, particularly prolonged droughts and devastating floods at all levels. Massive humanitarian crises provoke detrimental impacts on economies, health, education, peace and security, and other related risks.
This summit is a crucial step to prepare the upcoming COP28 meeting and to make sure that Africa's voice resonates around the world.
President after another took to the podium to submit their statements on the effect of climate change and ways to solve it. And according to statements read, heads of state agreed on finding a permanent solution in relation to climate change. The initiative will unlock Africa's capacity for sustainable development.
The stronger you are as suppliers, the more Europe will diversify supply chains towards Africa, and the more we both will de-risk our economies.
This initiative will target countries with clear transition plans, robust regulatory frameworks, and a real commitment to putting the necessary grid infrastructure in place.
Africa continues to carry the burden of rising temperatures, despite contributing the smallest share of global greenhouse gas emissions.
According to President William Ruto's statement, urgent and coordinated action should be implemented in lowering greenhouse gas emission, and at the same time, he has called for innovative intervention.
A sound understanding of the nature and causes of climate change, coupled with our experience of its devastating effects, has provided us with a robust early warning system that the classical economic development progression precedent is not available for us as a pathway to this transformation. As Africans, we are strongly persuaded that not only is it urgent for us to execute an audacious leapfrogging of the traditional developmental pathway to industrialization, but urgent ecological imperatives also dictate that we must go green first before industrializing, and not vice versa, like the advanced industrial economies had the luxury to do.
The summit is now going on for the second day and is expected to end tomorrow, with the main objective being agreeing on methods and solutions to deal with climate change. Edward Nyamo, Kutv.
Now, still on that summit, billions of dollars have been pledged by participants of the ongoing Africa Climate Summit being held in Nairobi. The United States has announced a $3 billion pledge to support climate change adaptation, while the European Union has plans to inject 1 billion euros into climate projects. The United Arab Emirates, which will host the 28th United Nations Climate Conference, has pledged the highest amount so far, a sum of over $4.5 billion investments towards clean energy initiatives in Africa.
As leaders from global powers and organizations thronged KICC Nairobi for the Africa Climate Summit, they brought along hefty pledges into climate change management in Africa. U.S. Special Envoy on Climate John Kerry announced President Biden's pledge of over $3 billion into climate change adaptation in Africa. Kerry noted the grave impacts of global climate change on food security in Africa, revealing a plan by the U.S. government to earmark over $30 billion for food security, climate adaptation across the continent.
He is providing, or will fight with the Congress and guarantee that we will provide $3 billion annually for adaptation for the $12 billion program that he believes is essential in order to be able to do our part to adapt to this challenge.
The European Union is making plans to add over 1 billion euros into the climate financing kitty. European Union President Ursula von der Leyen, while announcing the plans, advocated for reinforcements in green energy investments, calling on the continent to rally and borrow a leaf from Europe in hosting green investments.
We are allocating 1 billion euros to de-risk private investments in emerging markets. This could help to attract up to 20 billion euros in sustainable investment.
The United Arab Emirates will host the 28th edition of the United Nations Climate Conference, and the president-designate of the conference, Sultan Jaber, was present in Nairobi today. Jaber made calls to participants to gear up for the Dubai conference, along with announcing the highest pledge yet, $4.5 billion of finances into climate initiatives.
And by working together, we will deploy $4.5 billion that will catalyze at least an additional $12.5 billion from multilateral public and private sources.
Africa contributes less than 3% in climate change, but bears the biggest brunt in the after effects. Major global contributors seized up the Africa Climate Summit in Nairobi to make preparations for their atrocities. Munene Weru, KUTV.
Replanet Africa, a non-governmental movement, has awarded winners of its university essay writing competition. Participants wrote on how nuclear power can contribute to the continent's energy mix while taking into account its impact on climate change, economic growth, as well as household livelihoods. The competition is a precursor to the launch of the Replanet Africa movement to coincide with the ongoing Africa Climate Summit.
Of Replanet Africa in Kenya, university students have been awarded after participating in the writing of an essay which was titled How Nuclear Power Can Contribute to the continent's energy mix while considering the impact on climate change, economic growth, as well as household livelihoods. Among 128 valid submissions from 60 universities in Africa, 5 students emerged winners in the competition and were awarded. 5th position was taken by a student from Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology in Kenya, Sandra Alwongo. 4th position was scooped by Kigala Shon from Makerere University in Uganda. 3rd position went to Chahanam Joseph of University of Nigeria. 2nd position being taken up by a student from University of Pretoria, and the winner was a Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, Mike Felix Okot. The ceremony, which was held on the sidelines of Africa Climate Summit, was focusing on 3 key issues on conservation of the ozone layer and climate change, which is achievable through elimination of fossil fuels by adopting use of nuclear energy in Africa.
Nuclear energy is zero carbon, but also it has the capability of powering an entire nation. So among the so many numerous benefits of nuclear energy that I won't tell you, because our AC participants wrote down these benefits and we evaluated them, and this evening we are here to celebrate those minds.
Replanet Africa has now set foot in Kenya and Africa at large following its establishment in Uganda last year, November, to advocate for the need to conserve the environment. Salma Swaleh, KUTV.
Now to a more sad story. Mau Mau veteran Field Marshal Muthoni Wakirima is dead. Muthoni breathed her last this morning while at Radiant Hospital in Pangani, Nairobi. According to the deceased's grandson Samuel Kariuki, who confirmed the news of her demise, she had registered no illness but kept complaining about her hand, which was shot as she took part in the fight for Kenya's independence. She had fallen on the same hand and got hurt. President William Ruto and Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua are among the leaders who have eulogized Muthoni, terming her as a powerful figure of broad influence who fought for the freedom of this country. Her body has been moved to Lee Funeral Home as the burial preparations begin. May she rest in eternal peace. Now, moving on, Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, accompanied by United Kingdom Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office Minister for Africa Andrew Mitchell, Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja, and Transport CS Kipchumba Murkomen have today inspected the Nairobi Railway City project. The project, which sits on 425 acres of land within the capital's central business district, mirrors King's Cross Railway Complex in London and is expected to be a highlight in the UK Africa Investment Summit that will be held in April next year in London.
Next April in London, we have the UK Africa Investment Summit, and our Prime Minister has invited President Ruto and many other 25 countries in Africa to come to that summit. We hope the summit is going to lead to billions of pounds of investment, trade, business being conducted, and I have no doubt at all that this project here and how it's going will be a really important issue at that conference.
This is concessionary funding. All right. It is not a program that is on a commercial loan basis. It is concessionary funding. That is absolutely important, based on the fact that the President has been talking about the need to look at how African countries can have access to credit at more affordable rates.
The National Police Service, NPS, in Mombasa County has conducted a public participation exercise touching on the proposed general duty uniform for the National Police Service officers. According to NPS Logistics Director Peter Ndungu, the public participation in the selection process has drawn officers and members of the public from the 6 counties in the region.
The National Police Service, NPS, is set to phase out the current general duty police uniforms after concluding a public participation exercise in 8 regions countrywide. led by the Director of Logistics at the National Police Service, Peter Ndungu. The public participation in the selection process for the proposed Kenya Police Service Uniform Committee has drawn officers and members of the public from all 6 counties in the region to give their views on the change in attire, and their views will be taken into account.
We came to hear views from officers drawn from all countries of Coast region, including members of the public, and we have taken them through, and now we're through with the exercise. Whatever you have gotten here, what they have raised, what they have dared, we take into account. It will be among the recommendations in the final report to be presented to the IG.
Timothy Omuga, community policing member from Inuka Police Station in Likoni Sub-County, says community policing members highlighted the community from the grassroots, and proper identification of officers will be enhanced with the correct uniform. Additionally, the community policing members called on the government to address the welfare of police officers in order to motivate them in their work.
Ili ya kwamba hata kama amenona apewe uniform mwingine anaweza kubadilisha ile name tag na akabandika kwa ile nguo. Kwa hiyo hayo ndio maneno tumekobolea.
Nyingi utakuta iko rangi sawa sana ile uniform ambayo iko, lakini ile ya zamani ambayo sasa ndio tumekambe ndio inataka kuregeshwa, tunakuta ile uniform iko tofauti, sababu ukiangalia vifungo vyake ni tofauti, ambayo kipotee inabidi paka utafute kwa serikali, sio ende dukani ukanunua.
Na polisi watambulikane kwa kazi zao nzuri wanazofanya mashinani, na waongezewe kile kitu ambacho kitawafanya wasidhulumike kule chini, manake wengi wanaumia kwa sababu ya ile fedha yao ni kidogo. Tuomba pia serikali wakumbuke, mwakumbuka kwa uniform, na pia pesa wapewe, nyumba nzuri, makao mazuri.
The public participation in the selection process for the proposed Kenya Police Service Uniform Committee will present its final report to the Police Reforms Committee after the public participation process is concluded. Dorothy Musyoka, KUTV.
Thank you so much, Dorothy. It's time for our very first short break here. Remember that we are coming back with that interview touching on the sugar sector, just what is going on in that sector. We'll be talking to Peter Salasia, who is a member of parliament from the sugar growing area, that is Mumias East. Stay tuned for that.
Immunization refers to the deliberate act of introducing a protective substance into a human body, although immunization is also carried out in animals, in order to allow that individual to produce protection against certain specific diseases.
Let us encourage society to make sure we demystify the myths around vaccination.
When you get vaccinated, do not walk away immediately. Hang around for 10 to 15 minutes.
Technology, science, innovation, ICT and research. These are the ingredients upon which the solutions to the 21st century problems are founded. In a world that is rapidly changing, it's all hands on deck to ensure a balance in all fields of life. Women, young and old, are also in the front line, breaking the glass ceiling, becoming thought leaders in the larger tech space. Not forgetting other societies marginalized. And when the tech Avengers come together, we inch closer to a much safer, efficient, and sustainable world. What we view as a norm in today's advanced world was just an idea, and for nostalgic reasons, we trace back to the iconic days to bring you the retro tech. On Tech Innovation Show, we encapsulate all the pillars of the fourth industrial revolution, decoded in a language, all for one for all. every Monday at 8:30 as we push the mantra, keep learning something new each and every day. Only on KUTV, a new experience.
Fashionistas, get ready to level up your style game. Tune in to Fashion Diaries every Monday at 8 p.m. with me, Ashley Asad. From killer heels to split suits, we've got the trends that will make you shine. Don't be left out. Join us for a fashion-filled adventure.
First time?
Yeah, I'm kind of scared, but I can do this. Mess with me. Yeah, let's do this, man.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audio-visual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
Welcome back. You are still watching KUTV News at 9. Remember that we are still trying to get hold of Honorable Peter Salasia, Mumias East MP, who is about to join us here to talk about how we are going to revive the sugar mills. Our technical team is still trying to get him to join. Once he joins us, we will be coming live. We will be getting into that interview. But in the meantime, we continue with our stories here. And a border rider in Ngurubani, Mwea, Kirinyaga County has devised an innovative solution to escape the rising fuel prices. Joseph Washira adapted his motorcycle to run on a 3 kg gas cylinder rather than petrol, significantly reducing visits to the petrol station. The gas is seamlessly integrated into the bike's filter and requires only a small amount of petrol for ignition.
Innovation has been known to hold the solution to various challenges. In the spirit of the Climate Week, Joseph Washira, a border rider from Kirinyaga County, has innovated a way to avoid the brunt of high fuel prices. Washira uses gas energy as an alternative to fuel energy, an innovation that saves him 600 shillings daily.
Sababu ya kufanya hivi ni vile tuliona venye maisha imekuwa magumu, sababu petroli iko bei kali sana. na petroli kama mimi uanga natumianga petroli kila siku natumia 600 700 hivi, na nilipoanza kutumia hii gas hii kamtungi nanipeleka siku 4. Ukifanya mahesabu nilikuwa ninakunywa mafuta ya 600 kila siku, na saizi ninaweka 200. Kwa hivyo ninaona inaniachia 400 kila siku.
Using a 3 kg gas cylinder, Wachira made a slight adjustment to his motorcycle, readjusting it to run on gas rather than petrol. His change has resulted to less trips to the petrol station, as the rider claims that he saves about 600 shillings per day.
Kwa hivyo mimi naweza omba serikali badala ya kutuletea hizi pikipiki za stima iangalie ama iingilie, ifanye hii kitu ikuwe mzuri kabisa, tuwe tunatumia gas kuliko kutuletea hiyo ya stima juu. Sasa kama mimi mtu niko na hii ya mafuta, sitaweza kununua ya stima.
Alongside some of his colleagues, Wachira has urged the government to facilitate the innovation, citing that although the electric bikes may be a better alternative to fuel energy, it is not favorable for them as they may not be able to buy new bikes.
Hii system yenye unaona ametumia hapa iko afadhali kuliko yenye tunatumianga ya mafuta. Hiyo ya mafuta imepeleka wengine wetu nyumbani, juu wengi wetu ni huwa tunakodi nduthi, na tukikodi nduthi unaitishwa shilingi 300 ama 400.
This innovation underscores the power of creativity and resilience, offering a practical way to navigate the challenges posed by the rising fuel prices. It is a call to action for the government and a potential game changer in the ongoing quest for affordable transport solutions. Yvonne Kimuma, KUTV.
And police officers in Kilifi have seized 316 kilograms of bang with an estimated street value of 9,480,000 shillings after the Toyota Land Cruiser used to ferry the consignment landed into a ditch. Meanwhile, Shinyalu Member of Parliament Fred Ikana has promised to provide food to all 2023 national exams candidates in his constituency. Here is Mercy Wanjiru with today's counter up.
In Kilifi County, 316 kgs of bang estimated at a value of 9 million were found after a Toyota Land Cruiser used as a transport means landed into a ditch in a self-involved accident. The bang was stashed in 7 gunny bags ferried along Kaloleni Mavueni route in the Black Prado TX, which at the time bore registration number KDC 300L. Elsewhere, Shinyalu Member of Parliament Fred Ikana has promised to provide food to all candidates in his constituency who will be writing the 2023 national exams. He promised to provide bags of rice and beans in every secondary, primary and junior secondary schools to be used to feed candidates during the examination period.
Wa darasa la 8, wale watainiwa wa JSS, wale watainiwa wa form 4, ili kupunguzia hawa wazazi na walimu mzigo, kwa sababu hali ya uchumi imekuwa ngumu na imeumiza Wakenya wote bila kubagua. Mimi niliwaahidi nitawatafutia chakula candidates wa kule wakati wanafanya mtihani.
In Lamu County, preparations are underway for the 21st annual Lamu Cultural Festival that is set to be held from November 30th to December 2nd. According to the county governor Issa Timami, last year's cultural festival was a success, but he expects these years to be better.
Cultural festival is slated for the 30th of November, 1st and 2nd December 2023. And since I got re-elected, we held our first culture last year, and I believe it was very successful. We are hoping this year it will even be better.
The Lamu Cultural Festival has made Lamu County popular and is expected to contribute highly to tourism promotion of the county, majorly attracting local tourists. Mercy Wanjiru, KUTV.
And a total of 760 fresh beneficiaries of Inua Jamii Cash Transfer Program have been registered in Busia County. This results from the ongoing 20-day national recruitment drive launched last Saturday. The government targets to register 5,000 more Kenyans to the scheme, including orphans and the vulnerable children, older persons, and people living with disabilities.
The second phase of Inua Jamii Cash Transfer Program beneficiaries registration has continued in Busia County, targeting the needy and vulnerable groups of orphans, older persons, and people living with disabilities. Speaking at Kaliwa Market, Teso South Constituency, Busia County, while inspecting the exercise, the director of the Children's Department, Busia County, Esther Wasige, explained that the program is intended to support the needy and vulnerable groups in the society.
Tuko na programs tatu katika Inua Jamii. Ya kwanza inaitwa Orphans and Vulnerable Children, na pia tuko na mradi ambao ni wa wazee ambao wako na miaka 70 kwenda juu. Na hii ni kila mzee anasajiliwa isipokuwa ule ambaye ako kwa pension. Ya mwisho ni wale ambao wanaishi na ulemavu. Wale ambao wako na ulemavu, na ni ulemavu ambao unawafanya hawawezi kujisimamia peke yao, hawawezi kujishughulikia.
Wasige further stated that the national government is taking appropriate mechanism to ensure effectiveness in receiving the funds without the need to travel long distances for payment.
Kusajili katika akaunti mzima 760 people. Kuna mikakati ya kulipa kila mtu mahali hapo. Hata kama tuseme mtu maybe ako bedridden, kuna agent wanaenda mpaka hapo kwake wakiwa na maafisa wa social services ama wa children ama wa disability, na wanaweza kumlipa.
The statement was supported by Busia County Commissioner Kipchumba Ruto, who also warned the caregivers with the habit of defrauding beneficiaries of their money in the process of helping them acquire payments.
We have advised the members, the beneficiaries, not to be defrauded of their money by persons, maybe even close relatives. But we are going to train them in the coming days also. Secondly, the beneficiaries who will succeed, they'll be paid on or before 15th of every month.
Some of the beneficiaries who got the opportunity to be enrolled expressed their joy, while at the same time narrating the challenges they have had.
Huko nyumbani hakuna nafasi ya kupata kitu, masikini huko nyumbani. Ndio sisi uongoleza sisi, alafu sisi tupate hiyo pesa. Mimi nakuja hapa kwa sababu ya shida ambayo iko nayo. Mimi ni mzee, nakuja hapa kutafuta pesa ya uzee.
Hata sina msaidizi yote nyumbani. Nataka serikali bila ilitoa hii mjadala hii nisaidie, niridike, ni lilinde watoto wa yatima pia.
As of July this year, approximately 1 million people were already benefiting from the program, with the government aiming to double the number to 2.5 million within the next 3 years. Joseph Oyomo, KUTV.
Thank you so much, Joseph. And I think at that point now, it's the time for that interview that we've been telling you about all the time. Right now, we find that the sugar industry in Kenya has had a tumultuous ride for a minute, or should I say a long time. The sector is once again the topic of national debate as President Ruto moves to revive sugar mills. For the president, the train has already left the station. Peter Salasia joins me tonight to discuss this, and time allowing, we'll brush over the politics of the Western region. Mheshimiwa, if you can get me right now, first of all, good evening.
Evening, how are you? Yes, I'm very much fine.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I was afraid we would not get hold of you, but first things first, when we were preparing for this interview, we heard that you could not join us live in studio because you are in Kisumu County. I understand that there is a stakeholder meeting that is bringing together stakeholders in this sugar sector. Is this the same event you're attending?
Yes, this is the same event that I'm attending. We are having a stakeholders meeting here, but we are having two committees. One is the Committee of Agriculture, and another one is the Committee of Finance and Planning. So both, we are about to deliberate on the sugar factories that are public owned, and that is Miwani Sugar, Sony Sugar, Chenil Sugar, then we have Nzoia Sugar. I think there should be 5. That is Nzoia Sugar, Miwani Sugar, Chenil Sugar, and Sony Sugar, and Moroni Sugar, yes.
Okay.
So, and also touching on Mumias Sugar also.
Okay. I believe as we proceed, we'll be narrowing down, especially to Mumias. But we have had several of these stakeholder meetings. Do you believe that at least now the one that you are attending, the one in Kisumu right now, is going to solve this? Are you finally going to have something tangible, something that is going to solve the problem of Mumias once and for all?
First of all, mainly the problems of Mia Sugar has been partly been solved, but we have some key issues that we are looking for. We want the government to come in. Number one is to thank the president for coming out firmly and telling those people that they have one choice to remove those cases from the court. Because you see, there's no any way that you can be buying justice for any one individual and at the expense of millions of other Kenyans who's supposed to, because this law is made for the Kenyans, and the law should not be made the law that will be there to frustrate the Kenyans and deny them what they ought to have. And that's why I want to thank the president for coming out clearly and say that this time around we must get it right. And he said it, that you have only option to remove those cases. And you saw, because I've been all along demonstrating, I've been always calling upon the Martha Koome, the Chief Justice, to come in the issue and address, because the courts have been held hostage by the same cartel. So, and immediately the president came out clearly. You saw all of them coming out and removing those cases. And after removing those cases, we can now see that immediately now the AFA removes what they call the ban on millers, to stop operation. Then Mia Sugar will start operation. But now there is one thing that now I'm urging, and I want to ask the president also to help us, so that now KCB, because now we had they were doing the sugar milling, but now we had what you call the ethanol production, the distillery part of it, and cogeneration. Because without the two, the company cannot be effective enough in terms of production. So we are now expecting that Vatox, which owns the distillery plant, will have to swallow the ego and come and agree with Kenya Commercial Bank, so that now they can make that ethanol production to pick off and start operation. And also to ask the cogeneration, so that they can start now selling the power to Kenya Power and to the national grid, and also the ethanol production to start off. So I think that is, and also I'm also pushing for the sake of the farmers, that now, because with the report that was tabled in the House before we went for the recession, where the government had come up to they call it what, to write off some debts for the companies that have state-owned factories or companies or parastatals to that extent. But I feel like Mia Sugar was not part of the state-owned companies.
Okay.
So what I'm pushing for is that, yes?
Yes, Mheshimiwa, just to take you back, you have clearly stated that you believe in what the president said when he toured your region just the other day, and he said something that has become, the talk of the nation right now, the famous Mambo ni Matatu, only three things for you. You either leave this country, you get yourself on the highway to heaven, and the other one. And when you look at what is happening, I have seen Jacqueline Kimeto, who is a lawyer actually, has said she was forced. She recanted or removed her petition from the High Court at a time when she was under duress. In fact, in a statement that she released again, she's saying that I want back. She's getting back. She's getting on with this case. That aside, what assurance do we have that when all these cases have been dropped, now Mumias will finally function? Once,
there's a statement you made. She said what?
yeah, she's said she's going again. She's reinstating her case. She's back in court again.
I think one thing she ought to understand that yes, we have the rule. She has his own right, but she should understand that she cannot hold the entire Western hostage just because of her own selfish interest. And that's why we want to ask the president to go for them, because this Kimeto has been the problem for Mumia Sugar for a very long time. And we want to tell them that this time around, this country needs a firm president. And if it means to have the dictator president, let us have a dictator president and dictate for this country. For what reason should we be all the time talking about this issue? I think the president should come out and crush these people, because it is high time that we cannot tolerate such kind of nonsense. Because they refuse to go and follow the procedure, because the law is very clear about a company going under receivership. Mm-hmm. Who are the creditor and who are unsecured creditor, and it highlights why does she wants to go and bring all the time injustice.
Again, Mheshimiwa.
And want to, yes.
Again, Mheshimiwa, whatever you are saying can be contested using the same law you are referring to, because when you say that we even need a dictator president and all that, I want to take it that those are your personal opinions and you are entitled to them. But the petitioner says...
Yes.
Jacqueline Kimeto says that she was currently, at the time of writing this letter, she told the Deputy Registrar of the High Court that she was being subjected to force, threats of imprisonment, coercion, threats to her life, and extreme psychological pressure to withdraw her petition, which she had filed with the court on the 20th and the 22nd March 2019, without any mention as to how her money decrease shall be settled in full. Hers is, I delivered services to Mumias. I've not received the money that Mumias owes me, and that's what I'm going for. Mheshimiwa, if you were in her position, what would you do?
Okay, no one refuses to give them their money. But the law is very clear. When a company goes under receivership, what is it that is needed to be done? Because she has been all along trying to hold this company hostage and trying to use the likes of Kanarai have been using her. But we want to know. She must also get to prove to the court, like Amma says that this is what I offered, and then they follow the procedure. What is the need for her to stop this company? How will she be paid when this company is closed and she wants to be paid? She wants to be paid from where?
Okay, I think we'll move on.
Be paid from where?
I think we'll move on from. I think we'll move on from that. So what is happening is right now. Just the other day, I think you were in your home area and you led this demonstration. Again, it was about the issue of Mumias. What are the solutions? What other solutions exist? The president has spoken. We are waiting to see if his words will be followed by actions. But aside from what the president is saying, once we get Try out of the way, what are other solutions that are going to help us ensure that Mumias is up and running?
First of all, the unhealthy competition that has been there. And you see, these court cases have been being sponsored by certain people. So once he wants to monopolize this industry called sugar, and we want to have as much as they are in the industry, let them, and that's why the industry of sugar is suffering. And that is why we are trying to come up with measures that can heal this kind of the kind of confusion in the industry. So one of the key solutions that we have, that we are having a sugar bill that is in the house, that definitely is going to bring order out of the confusion that we have been having. And some of the areas that we have looked in at as the bill, we have like what you call the sugar board is going to handle that confusion. We also have things to do with the cane development, where we are introducing a sugar levy, whereby it's going to help the farmers to develop canes. Because like you see, like right now, the millers have been closed because of shortage of canes. So because most millers, they want to compete on the few canes that are available, but they don't want to cultivate those canes. So we want to bring discipline in the industry. That is number one. But coming back on the issue of mumias, what the president says that tunataka cartels wote watoke. So once Rai understands that is out of his way, we are not saying that we are chasing, but he has to leave mumias to run. That is number one. So other people, like even the Kimeto, she will have to explain to the court about the 77 million that she's saying to prove it. And then the court should be also flexible, because the courts have been postponing this issue of cases. Like today, they say the case is going to be heard after 2 months. They have closed the company. So what is the importance of that? That's why the president, I support the president on this matter. And any leader who criticizes the president on this matter that he's wrong, then I have no reason of listening to such kind of a leader. So let me just also remind the president that he has also to go full swing and make sure that these cases are removed out completely. As much as we are having, she's going to take to the court, but the judge should not stop the operation of Mumia Sugar. That one we will not accept, and we'll go back to the conversation.
Okay, Mheshimiwa, at this point,
yes,
do you still believe in the rule of law?
Yes, I believe in the rule of law, but the rule of law should not be used to infringe the rights of the millions of people there outside there who are suffering. How can we say that we are protecting an interest of one person and at the expense of the millions of other people?
Okay, you've proven that you still believe in the rule of law, at least from your words.
The golden rule, let me tell you, the golden rule speaks it out. Like, as much as we are looking for your right, no one is disputing about her money, if that is the case. First, she understands that she's an unsecured creditor. There is a procedure. She should also come out clearly and tell the people that this is it. And maybe if you can go through what happens when a company goes under receivership, what happens with the unsecured creditor, and what happens with secured creditors. So it's something that is clear. Why can't she follow the procedure? So if she doesn't want to follow the procedure, but she wants to use the court, and she's using the court to stop an idea. Okay, to my position, could be she could have accepted yes, which we don't argue, that yes, the Mumias, she needs money from Mumias because of the services that she offered. No one is refusing that, number one. Then number two, now, let us allow the Mumia Sugar to continue with the operation as we await the court to guide us. What is the fate of secured creditors? What is the fate of unsecured creditor? As simple as that. Once we get to understand that, but other than going to court and telling the court to stop operation of Mumias until her case is heard. What is important of that?
Okay, Mheshimiwa, apart from that, now once we have the sugar millers up and running again, is there any plan to adopt productive cane varieties?
Okay, that is why we are here in Kisumu. We have had a very maybe if I can just do, we have like you see the problem we are having right now today, they call them what, the kind of varieties that are being applied in this country. They are those varieties that were brought 1979, and the maturity for those canes is about 18 months. But because of India, they are applying that. That's why now we want to have what you call the Kutv. This is a body that we want to put in the act, and which is in the Sugar Act, that will be mandated to look for canes that can mature faster. Maybe at most 14 months, 12 months, 13 months. They should look at countries that are doing good in terms of and have the same climate, like Pakistan. We have India. We have there's various of them. So we are going to have this, and then we are going to have experts from Brazil, wherever. They have to do the work. It is to do the research, and once they do the research, they should tell us that this can maturity, because now waiting for 18 months is long period. So those are some of the things that makes the shortages of canes in the region. Once we have cane variety that can take 14 months maximum or 12 months, then we'll be okay. And that's why we want to focus on this issue of sugar research, whereby we want that it should be like an authority on its own, and this authority should be funded and be given powers and do research, and help farmers to develop those canes that mature faster.
Okay, as part of the government's plan to revive these mills, I have seen there is a proposal that will be hitting the National Assembly, I believe, next week. And in it, we are seeing that there will be a leasing where we will be able to bring private capital on board, expertise, and, just to modernize all these industries. The factory in this arrangement will still belong to the government, but the running will be done by private individuals. Right now we are having Miwani and Muhoroni being under receivership. In the same proposals, there are mergers that have been proposed. Nzoia and Sugar will remain very independent, running on their own. Then Chemelil and Muhoroni have been merged or proposed to be merged, so that whoever bids for the lease bids for both companies. So in this plan, I can see that Mumias Sugar will have a separate recovery plan. But this proposal, what do you make of this proposal, Mheshimiwa? Do you think that it is a viable one? It is a working one? Will it work for the sugarcane farmers? For example, from the place where you come, I understand you have sugarcane farmers there.
Okay, that's very true, because looking at Moroni and Miwani, those were the proposal, but we are getting views from the stakeholders, and some they are saying that they are not interested. They don't want Miwani and Moroni to be merged together. They want each to be independent on its own. So because we are meeting with stakeholders, like today we met with the MCAs, we met with the MPs. They have own their, because each company has its own niche, it has its own uniqueness. So we want to know as we are here, because tomorrow we'll also be meeting with the governors from the regions. We'll also be meeting with the farmers. We'll also be meeting with the millers in the region. We'll also be meeting with various stakeholders, cooperatives, and everything. So from there, we'll be able to conclude which is the best approach for Miwani, which will be the best approach for Moroni, which will be the best approach for Chemelil, which will be the best approach for Nzoia. And then from that point of view, we'll be able to give a conclusive report on this issue, on this matter, but what they have refused is about privatization, because we know like privatization is the one that has caused the problems in Mumias Sugar, because its privatization was never done properly, and it affected, in fact, even the problems they are having today, and that's why the government is only having 20% shares.
Okay,
so
we are coming to the tail end of this. I'm having a comment from a viewer here, Israel Mwai, saying, please, quick question, ask Mheshimiwa, what are some of the efforts Western MPs have put in place to ensure Butali and West Sugar Mills are back in place?
Okay, number one, what we just want is we want unhealthy competition, because recently we heard that West Kenya has to pay Butali 500 million. It's because of that competition, unhealthy competition. So we want what we call the system support of the industry in the sector, whereby West Kenya can support Butali, Butali can support West Kenya can support Mumias, Mumias can support West Kenya. So that is what we want. But meanwhile, once we are still taking the census of the cans, we are getting the reports from the AFA. Once they get the reports from the AFA that the cans are enough, and then we also want, when the AFA gives a launch to go on, we will want Mumia Sugar to also to be operational, so that Mumias as West starts Butali, Mumia should be also on. So we are waiting for the report from the AFA. Once they tell us that they have enough cans, the cans are available, because as you see, the southern Nyanza part, that is Sony and Transmara, Kwale, they are in operation. But this problem of the other side of the Nyando, Sugar Belt, and Western, that is the Kakamega Western part, and Busia, they have closed. So for the MPs who are in the region, I don't know what they are playing, because if you are not playing, okay, because now they're talking about West Kenya and Butali. So I don't know what they are doing, but I believe, because today I've heard that they are going to have a meeting, Sugar Conference, but today I have not heard them coming to this meeting, whereby we were taking a feedback from MPs, leaders today, but they didn't come for this meeting. So I don't know where are they fighting from for the sugar industry. I don't know, because they have said that they're having a sugar conference in Kakamega. Mm-hmm. Where are they going to take that report when we are handling this report at this time?
Okay.
So anyway, that is what I can say.
Okay, so for clearance, just to be clear here, is when you say AFA, you mean the Agriculture and Food Authority, AFA?
Yes.
All right. So just one question on politics. The president was in your region the other day. I saw leaders from across the political divide joining the president. But then the UDA Secretary General Cleophas Malala is really pushing for Western parties that have their roots in the Western region to fold and join UDA. Are you and your DAP party crossing over to support President William Ruto anytime soon?
No, me, I'm not. Okay, I'm not in Kenya Kwanza, so I can't comment about the affairs. So it's upon them, but we unite with the president to fight corruption. That is what I know. The only thing I know about is that to support the president to fight corruption, that one is 100% support, sure, to the president. Other issues of issues zingine kama sijui doing what about which party to unfold and join what, that one I think is a bit technical for me to answer.
Is your party a village party? He called them village parties actually.
No, my party is not Kenya Kwanza. So maybe he was referring to maybe Ford Kenya and NC. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, thank you so much, Mheshimiwa. That's all the time we had. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you for your time. Thank you once again.
Asante.
Now, in sports, Kenya national football team Harambee Stars are preparing to face Qatar national team in an epic friendly match to be played in Qatar's capital city, Doha. Stars are also set to play against South Sudan as they move closer to the World Cup qualifier matches.
Kenyan national football team Harambee Stars have continued their preparations ahead of their epic friendly match against Qatar, set to be played in Doha this Thursday. Stars head coach Engin Firat has said Qatar is a formidable team which will provide a strong opposition for his players.
So they have a really strong team which will challenge us, and this is in the end a good friendly match for us, because if we play games away, especially Ivory Coast, Gabon, Gambia, so it will be not different. So they have also very strong squads. So therefore it's good to see under pressure what we can do, especially like I said also to you before, so to see if this works.
The Turkish tactician has also said Harambee Stars team has a chance to qualify for the 2026 FIFA World Cup if they improve on their playing style and tactics ahead of the qualifying matches, adding that he will give all players both local and abroad a chance in the national team.
So if we are able to have a good organization, if we are able to bring also the players on time here, so that they have not to take all the time the cheapest flight tickets and stay 10 hours at airport or whatever. If we can do all these steps, I'm sure we will play a very good role in this group.
Stars captain Michael Olunga, who plays for Al Duhail in Qatar, has said that playing against the 2022 World Cup hosts will enable them to improve on their game ahead of the World Cup qualifying matches.
I would say we have chances because now with the World Cup being extended to many teams, to accommodate many teams, it gives us a good opportunity, to try and go out there and compete. And I believe we stand a chance if we really compete fairly against the best teams in our group, that is Ivory Coast and Gabon, who are ranked higher than us. I believe we can pull something through, and it's going to be a really exciting World Cup qualifiers.
Harambee Stars are set to play against Ivory Coast, Gambia, Gabon, Burundi and Seychelles in Group F World Cup qualifying matches as they seek to feature in the 2026 World Cup for the first time, set to be played in Canada, Mexico and the United States. Njama Gikomo for KUTV Sports.
Yes, thank you so much. That brings us to the end of KUTV News at 9 on this Tuesday, the 5th September 2023. My name is Dennis Omundi. On the sign language interpretation has been Sheila Kinyaga. Thank you so much. Catch again another installment of State of the Nation next week on Tuesday. But for now, we say good night. See you that Tuesday.